Is everyone having a good time yet? Hey, it's James here on the Crypto Swiss channel. XRP is sitting at $2.01, dipping as low as $1.95 today. Right now, as I'm recording this, the market's absolute chaos. Not just XRP, not just crypto, not even just the stock market. Pretty much everything is shaking. In today's Crypto Swiss hot take, I'll dive into the fear gripping the world. Well, not my world, because I'm definitely not panicking. Tired of fake gurus who claim to be expert traders but never trade live? I trade live on the second largest crypto exchange, where everything is transparent and results can't be faked. For over 440 days, I've consistently closed every month in profit. In the last 90 days alone, my followers have earned over $34,000 in profits with only 4% drawdown. Verified results, not empty claims. Want to see my verified stats? Click the first link in my profile and start copying my trades for free today. Markets have these moments. They tremble, they shake, but guess what? They always pass. History proves it time and time again. Here's an example. A couple of hours ago, I posted this on X. There's always something that feels like the end of the world for markets. But guess what? It never is. And that's the truth. Let's talk more about why the sky isn't actually falling. Remember FTX? Remember COVID? Tariff fears? All that noise eventually fades away. For long-term investors, that's exactly what it is. Noise. And honestly, the only smart way for everyday folks like us, yes, I count myself here, to invest is by thinking long-term. When the world feels like it's on fire and the usual panic-driven retail investors are making rash moves, don't join them. I don't. I've lived through plenty of crises, so-called scary events, over the years. But seriously, what do you think will happen? The world ends? Every economy collapses overnight? We all move back to caves? Society just vanishes? Infrastructure crumbles? And every market ceases to exist? Really? Crypto disappears? Stock markets evaporate? And global commerce just stops? Let's be real. That's ridiculous. This is short-term fear-driven thinking. It's pointless. Markets always bounce back. They roar back. And the people who understand this simple truth, many of them are seizing opportunities right now, buying while others are panicking. So let's break it down. But here's the bottom line. The market isn't done. Far from it. The market isn't done yet, and neither is the crypto cycle. As for XRP, I'm still confident, more likely than not. It's gearing up for a significant move to the upside. I believe this applies to the entire asset class, but specifically, XRP looks poised for action. New all-time highs, price discovery, face-melting gains. Yep, all that exciting stuff could be on the horizon. Now, before we dive deeper, let me make one thing clear. I'm not a financial expert. I don't have a finance background, and nothing I say should influence your buying or selling decisions. I'm just a crypto enthusiast who loves making videos about these topics for fun. So, let's get into it. It's 1:06 p.m. Central Time, Thursday, April 3rd, 2025, the day the world supposedly ends. Again. XRP is sitting at $2.01 right now. Earlier today, it dipped to $1.95. But hey, saying it fell to $2.01 feels amazing. After holding XRP for as long as I have, it's surreal to think of $2 as a low. Over the past several months, XRP has consistently shown incredible strength compared to the broader market. Take Bitcoin, for example. It's currently at $81,549. After dipping to $80,975 earlier. Same story there, ups and downs. But XRP? It just keeps proving its resilience. If you flip between XRP and Bitcoin charts over the past 24 hours, you'll notice something. They're moving almost identically. There's nothing unique about XRP that's driving it down. The fundamentals haven't changed, so what's happening here? Well, XRP, like other risk-on assets, is taking a beating. But there's more to the story, and I'll dive into that. It's not just risk-on assets struggling today, though that's a big piece of the puzzle. Here's the thing, XRP isn't directly impacted by tariffs. Tariffs don't hit XRP specifically, but because it's seen as a risk-on asset, it's getting dragged down with the rest of the market. And let me tell you, the market's not happy right now. Take a look at this headline. CNBC reported earlier today, Trump's tariffs risk a global trade war as leaders plan next steps. Now, I'm not going to break down every detail. It's outside the scope of this video. But here's the gist. Yesterday, Trump announced a sweeping plan, a 10% baseline tariff on every country in the world, plus reciprocal tariffs. For example, if a country slaps the US with a 70% tariff, the US would hit back with half of that, so 35%. Some countries have exemptions, but you get the idea. This announcement lit a fire under global markets. And here's another headline. This one from Bloomberg. Trump tariffs wipe out $2 trillion from US stock market. People are panicking. Their net worth is shrinking before their eyes. And understandably, they're scared. It's a tough day out there, and risk-on assets like XRP are caught in the crossfire. My net worth took a serious hit today, and honestly, I'm laughing and enjoying life anyway. It just doesn't matter. Ups, downs. It's all part of the ride. The key is showing up on both the good and bad days, knowing the long-term trend is upward. That mindset is everything when it comes to investing in stocks or crypto. Stay diversified across asset classes, and you'll be all right. That's the game. Now, let's get into it. Roughly $2 trillion vanished from the S&P 500 index on Thursday. Why? Worries over President Donald Trump's new round of tariffs, sparking fears of a recession. The companies hit hardest? Those most reliant on global supply chains. Apple, which manufactures most of its US devices in China, dropped as much as 9.5%. Heavyweights like Lululemon, Nike, and others with ties to Vietnam slid over 12%. Even retailers like Target and Dollar Tree, packed with imported goods, fell by more than 10%. It's a bloodbath out there, no doubt. And in the stock market, these are massive percentage dips. For crypto investors, this might feel like a Tuesday, but in the stock world, a widespread hit like this is tough to ignore. Recession fears seem to be everywhere right now, but let's put things into perspective. Did you know the average recession lasts about a year? It's not like the world crumbles into chaos or everyone loses their job. It simply means we see slower growth for a little while, a natural correction that happens every so often. And honestly, even if a recession does hit, which is still an if at this point, it's far from the end of the world. There's no reason to panic unless you genuinely believe the sky is falling. And let's face it, that's a bit dramatic, right? Switching gears to crypto. Yes, it's taken some hits lately. Speaking of hits, let's talk about Eric Trump, Donald Trump's son. This morning, he tweeted something that caught my eye. I wouldn't want to be the last country negotiating a trade deal with Donald Trump. The first to negotiate will win. The last will absolutely lose. I've seen this movie my whole life. That statement made me think of a blockchain video I watched earlier. It's funny how these topics intersect, isn't it? He was diving into this idea in a pretty compelling way. With all these tariffs flying around, the concept is simple. If you step up and negotiate with Donald Trump, the self-proclaimed dealmaker and author of Art of the Deal, what might you gain? Imagine reducing tariffs on both sides. Suddenly, the entire US market could be wide open for you. That's a massive opportunity, especially for first movers. On the flip side, US companies might start eyeing your country for manufacturing opportunities, creating a win-win flow of goods and growth. There's a lot at play here, a whole web of moving parts. What Trump seems to be aiming for, at least from his perspective, is to level the playing field. Now, let's not get into the politics of it all. That's not the focus here, but the strategy? Yeah, I can see the logic. He's angling for a seat at the table, and the world's leaders will eventually sort it out. It's a messy process, no doubt. We're living through it in real time, and it's hitting our wallets. But in the end, deals will be struck, and the dust will settle. We just have to ride the wave for now. Sure, I get it. This feels like a mess right now, but trust me, it'll get sorted out. Like I mentioned earlier, FTX hit me hard, probably the hardest financial blow I've ever taken. I mean, it was brutal, worse than even the chaos of COVID. And during COVID, wow, XRP crashed all the way to 10 cents. I couldn't even time the bottom. No one really can, but I snagged some XRP at 15 cents during that March 2020 crash. That's the lowest I've ever bought it in my life. Every time, it feels like the end of the world, like nothing will recover. But guess what? It always does. This question mark, it's just part of the process. Things are messy now, sure, but fast forward a year from today. Will anyone even remember this? Probably not. It might get uglier before it gets better. But this isn't the end. It's not going to destroy the opportunities we have to thrive in crypto, especially as XRP holders. This downturn, it doesn't even relate to XRP itself. Its fundamentals keep getting stronger. So why panic? These concepts are simple if you step back and look. Fear doesn't belong here. Honestly, this feels like classic negotiating strategy. Obvious, right? People will figure it out eventually. Here's a great post from the blockchain backer. Certainly going to be an interesting day. Couldn't have said it better myself. Equities are diving after the tariff announcement, and the ripple effect is everywhere. The dollar, down to 101.6 on the DXY. Precious metals, gold's dropped $70. and silver's taken a $2 hit. Even Bitcoin dominance sits at the critical 702 retracement level. So, what's next for Bitcoin dominance? Has it peaked for good? Historically, when it hits these levels, it tanks, paving the way for alt season. Are we finally gearing up for that moment? Here's hoping the answer is yes. But let's pause for a second. How fascinating is this? Risk-on assets like crypto and stocks are getting hammered, yet gold, the supposed safe haven for turbulent times, is also down. Isn't gold where people usually run when chaos strikes? Yet here we are, watching it drop too. Chart analyst Dom had an intriguing perspective on this. He points out that this isn't just about risk on assets. It's bigger than that. Think about it. Tariffs don't specifically target Bitcoin or XRP, but when people worry about their finances, they pull back from riskier investments. Crypto, stocks, it's all interconnected. If you're concerned about your money, taking risk off the table feels like a natural response. But here's the thing, I don't play that game. I'm not chasing market timing or letting fear dictate my moves. I ride the waves, through the best days and the worst, knowing the long-term trend is up. Unless I'm ready to cash out because the value is irresistible, I'm staying the course. As for Dom's take, it's worth noting. He described today as a policy-driven liquidation wave, with nearly everything down. And he's right. This is about tariffs, not a traditional risk-off scenario. Still, it's a wild time to watch as markets react to policy shifts and the domino effect unfolds. Global trade dynamics, supply chains, inflation, and monetary policy are being reshaped thanks to tariffs. Bond yields are tumbling as traders brace for a rapid economic slowdown and potential Fed rate cuts. Meanwhile, the DXY is slipping, reflecting waning confidence in the US rather than the usual rush to safety. Markets are reacting quickly and sharply, as they often do. At this pace, we could hit a bottom by April, followed by a sharp rebound or a sideways grind until some clarity emerges. The big question, will the Fed step in? Rate cuts should have happened last month, but here we are, waiting to see if they'll move. This interconnected chaos is wreaking havoc on net worths and investments across the board. And gold? It's been fascinating to watch amid all this turmoil. As for risk-on assets getting crushed, well, that's just how it goes in uncertain times. None of this should shock anyone paying attention. But don't panic. This won't last forever. Can you imagine a full term of Trump presiding over constant chaos? Love him or hate him, we all know he wouldn't let it drag on indefinitely. It's not just about him, of course. Global leaders are at the negotiation table, hammering out the new terms and setting future norms. As Eric Trump said, you've got to negotiate. The truth, this is all just a tactic. And yes, it's shaking up net worths across the globe. That's not a political statement. It's just the reality. Everyone's feeling the ripple effects, no matter where they stand. Speaking of Ripple, chart analyst Don has some thoughts on XRP worth checking out. XRP update as of 10:46 a.m. Central Time. Something interesting is happening. On Binance, someone keeps propping up buy walls under local lows, consistently supporting the price. Over on Coinbase, more XRP has been bought than sold in the past 24 hours, which is definitely worth noting. Buy walls seem firmly in place around the $1.90 range, with strong defenses for the $2 mark. If Bitcoin breaks below $80,000, that might signal a real shakeup, unless of course more support emerges. Right now, XRP dipped below $2, but it didn't last long. As of this recording, it's hovering right around that $2 mark. What's next? We'll see, but let's not hit the panic button. This isn't the end of the world, and the stock market certainly isn't disappearing anytime soon. The idea that the market cycle is over, or that global liquidity no longer matters, that's nonsense. Once the uncertainty clears, the usual processes will take over like they always do. This is not a time for fear. If I were in the mood to buy, these are exactly the kinds of days I'd be paying attention to. Major capitulation events often present golden buying opportunities. I've seen far worse moments in the crypto market than this. Seriously, way worse bloodbaths. But even now, there are some solid opportunities for those who are long on crypto. Compared to recent trends, there's potential here. It's a sea of red out there. As I scroll through Live CoinWatch, it's clear the market is bleeding. But for those who know where to look, days like this can be moments to make bold moves. Here's a look at the top 50 coins. Everything's in the red. Honestly, is anything green today? Maybe a couple of stable coins, but even those aren't entirely safe. Look at Tether, down 0.3%. USDC, down 0.57%. Basically, nothing's dodging this downturn. But here's the thing, moments like this are part of the ride when it comes to investing. Chaos happens, but it doesn't last forever. Think about it. Selling now would only make sense if you truly believe the world was ending and crypto would never recover. And if that's your mindset, why bother selling? At that point, you'd better stock up on canned food and bunker supplies because you're prepping for doomsday. See how ridiculous that sounds? Investors lose out when they let emotions take the wheel. It's classic retail panic, and it's wrong-footing people every single time. The truth is, we're often our own worst enemies when investing. Recognize that, take a breath, and make decisions without letting fear dictate your moves. As for me, I'm not panicking. I'm holding strong. Why? Because I genuinely believe we're still in a crypto bull market, and the most exciting days are still ahead. That's my wager. Oh, and just to be clear, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't buy or sell anything based on what I say here. That would be a very, very bad idea. Until next time, stay curious, stay calm, and here's to the crypto Swiss.